We miss you crying on our shoulders.
And forgetting to make your bed.
Clean your rooms and picking up after you.
Let's not go too far.
The moms come to town for an emotional and kind of trippy episode of Good Trouble. So let's break down episode 5 and find out just what happened. Rise and shine on, you lovely people. Lisa here, and welcome back to my channel for another TV episode recap. It is time for some Good Trouble, and this is honestly one of my favorite episodes so far because, well, Stef and Lena finally come to visit. Yeah, it's always a good time when you get some fun trippy times with them, and then also all the mom advice you could ever want. But before I dive into this episode's recap, I figured I would fill you guys in on the most recent news for other freeform shows you might watch. First off, Good Trouble was just picked up for a season 2. Yes, we're only 5 episodes in, it's already getting a season 2, so get ready for more adventures at the Coterie. Grownish was also renewed for a 3rd season, and Freeform's reboot of Party of 5 was just picked up for series. If you're a fan of Pretty Little Liars, the drama continues with The Perfectionists, which will premiere on March 20th. There's also a brand new trailer. There's a link down in the description just for that. And other shows who just got premiere dates, we have Cloak and Dagger returning for season 2 with a 2-hour premiere on April 4th, and our favorite Ladies of the Bold Type will be back on April 9th. So, now that I've got that out of the way, let's dive into this week's episode of Good Trouble. Now, before Stef and Lena arrive, because when they arrive, there's a bunch of ticking time bombs that are just waiting to go off, and we gotta talk about the flashbacks that really get that fuse going for those time bombs. Mariana's still having a frustrating time at work, so as we know, she's decided to do less work and just enjoy the nice fat paycheck she's getting. So what does she do? She goes on a shopping spree and fills the whole entire apartment, you know, with beds and furniture and curtains and wallpaper and everything. And Callie's not too happy about it because she's not really getting any say in it. And yeah, it's just Mariana turning to retail therapy instead of figuring out how exactly to handle the stress of her job. Oh, and did I mention that Callie ends up finding the credit card bill, and yeah, Mariana's $20,000 in debt. We also have Callie, who's stressing over many things, including the place being perfect for the moms. She even voluntarily scrubs that entire communal bathroom. Yeah. Ooh, it just makes me cringe just thinking about cleaning that thing. At work, Ben keeps hounding her about where she lives, definitely trying to test Callie to get her to slip up about knowing Malika. While back at home, Malika tries to tell Callie she's actually not that close with Jamal's mom, and that for Callie's sake, if Callie thinks that she can actually help the case, she'll distance herself from Jamal's mom and everything and help from afar. And of course with Callie, there's always some boy trouble, this time with Gael, of course. They're still having steamy, ghost-inspired hookups. Yeah, you know, with the clay and the pottery and the whole bathtub thing. Yeah, totally rip-off of Ghost. But whatever, they look good doing it, I guess. Anyway, Callie warns Gael that she's not going to introduce him to her moms as anything, basically. Not even a friend, just as the guy who lives here because, well, they aren't in a relationship. But you can see that Gael's kind of hurt by this, and he kind of definitely wants more, I think. You don't do this kind of whatever they're doing, this hookup. It's not just a, you know, hit it and quit it. They have some pretty deep conversation, it seems, and I don't think you do that with a casual hookup. As far as the other side of this love triangle, we have whiny Brian going off to vent to his BFF Davia about how it's hard to compete with Callie for Gael since Callie actually lives in the same building and just can go up to Gael's place. So yeah, basically the girls are trying to hide all their problems as well as all the drama of the coterie and everything from their moms. So now, let's go on to the present, to when Stef and Lena arrive. Well, Stef and Lena head to town, and they're already not too thrilled about this whole communal living situation, which is why the girls are putting an extra effort to try to make this place look amazing. And as you can imagine, things start to go wrong as soon as they step off that elevator. They happen to arrive just after the fire marshal, who's received an anonymous tip from someone that the place is a fire trap, and so he's off doing his inspecting. Then they run into Dennis and his fling of the week, Aria, played by Kira Kosserin, coming out of the shower, and, well, that, among a bunch of other things they see as they're going around, plus finding a chamber pot in the girls' room, everything is just not sitting well with Stef and Lena. They are not convinced that this is a good place for Callie and Mariana to be living.
Just in case you don't want to run to the communal bathroom in the night, you pee in it. But you don't poop in it because,
Okay.
Now, as the tour of the coterie leaves the bathroom, Aria says she made some cookies that are on the table, and Stef and Lena, of course, partake in them. And immediately, I was just like, I saw cookies, I saw this girl, I was like, these are not going to be regular cookies, and bingo, I was right. Pretty soon, Callie and Mariana notice the moms are acting a lot different and just can't figure out why, because they knocked over the sign that warned people that these were cannabis cookies. Things get even more awkward as time goes on when they go up to the roof and of course run into Gael and Brian making out in the pool, and then they kind of talk themselves into getting a tour of Gael's apartment.
Ooh, I'm gonna go this way.
These textures. Do you see it?
I see a pickle.
Okay, maybe we should get you guys something to eat.
I want chips.
Then Stef changes her mind and decides to join in on Dennis's improv class, which mainly turns into Stef bringing up the concerns about Arya looking way too young for this guy and how he looks like a creepy old man. And you mix that with, well, Stef doing improv, and it's like, honestly, a show I think I could watch all day long.
Do you know why I've called you into my office?
Yes, I do, and I'm not gonna let you lick my feet anymore.
I'm gonna have to report you to HR then.
You mean HR puffin stuff?
Now, as this improv class goes on, Davia seems to be the only one other than Stef and Lena getting a kick out of this whole situation, and she finally asks if anyone else tried Arya's cookies because she's super high, and that's when Callie and Mariana figure out just what has happened. They end up having a laugh about it, thankfully, and then it's time for family dinner, and Gael doesn't want to make the situation weirder, so he's about to go out, but then everybody invites him to stay, including Callie, but maybe he should have gone, honestly. Because, you know, dinner starts off okay until Davia starts to get some attitude with Gael because, of course, she's trying to defend her boy Brian, and then they get into it with Dennis, and yeah, everyone's love lives and rules at the coterie and everything just keeps getting more tense and blowing up until Mariana also blurts out that Gael and Callie are hooking up. Then when it rains, it pours, and Jamal's mom happens to walk in during dinner looking for Malika, which causes Callie to panic as she tries to hide her face and runs into the alley, where she ends up running into the theater. Gael follows her, and they both kind of have a talk about their feelings because they both know while they're not exclusive, this is definitely not something that's casual and something could be building here. Meanwhile, Jamal's mom apologizes to Malika for just dropping by as she came to get the shirts that Malika made, and essentially we see Malika trying to pull back from Jamal's mom and not get as involved, but also saying that she'll be there for. But it seems like in a flashback we see that Malika might be closer to Jamal's mom than she's letting Callie know. But hopefully Malika does try to keep her distance for the sake of the case. Now when Callie returns to their room from the theater after her talk with Gael, Big Mouth Mariana's already told the moms about the case that Callie's clerking, the Jamal Thompson case. And this of course causes Callie to retaliate by sharing that Mariana's $20,000 in debt and that she just keeps partying and drinking, which leads to all of them blowing up about how they hate their jobs and how basically life sucks as an adult right now. We also have Mariana revealing how hurt she is that Callie has no time for her. She spends all her time with her job and with Gael over her own sister. So this whole blow up, of course, leads to a much needed Stef and Lena therapy and advice session, with the moms also admitting that their life is having some hardships as well, and they miss the girls just as much as the girls miss them.
I didn't want to bother you.
Oh my goodness, please bother us. We miss you girls so much. We do. Do you know that your mama has me listening to TED Talks?
Then the ladies head up to the roof for some wine with a view and more therapy, as Stef tells Callie she really should tell the judge about her relationship with Malika before someone else does. They also give Mariana advice about her job and not giving up, which leads to Lena elaborating why she might drop out of running for state assembly, because we saw it in a flashback that when Lena was campaigning, she was spit on and called horrible things by a racist man, and this has been discouraging for her. Malika then joins them to apologize about Jamal's mom, and Lena remembers the photo that she found on Malika's wall of Elizabeth Eckford, one of the first black students to attend Little Rock Central High School after the school was desegregated. It's a picture that shows her persevering through the harsh environment she had to endure. And after hearing why Malika keeps that picture up and what motivates her, plus you have Callie saying that they're Adams Fosters and they don't quit, which we've heard a couple of times in this series already, Lena decides to not drop out and everything seems like it's back on track. The next day, everyone hugs the moms goodbye, things seem good, and Callie and Mariana decide to finally spend some sister time together. Meanwhile, back at the office, that Snake Ben is in a deep Instagram stalking hole as he goes from Callie's page to Mariana's page to a hashtag for the coterie and all of this, and eventually finds himself, I think, on Alice's page, where there's pictures from that party we saw earlier in the season, and there's one of Malika and Callie talking, and you can just see this look in his eyes like his little wheels are turning in that head of his. The other thing we got in this episode is we finally got to learn more about Dennis, who we haven't had much screen time with until this episode, because as it plays out. The stereotype that he goes by in this episode, as we've seen before, is that he's pretty much the creepy old dude who dates the young women and just shows up in the background. Now, of course, this behavior seems to concern Stef, but one night when he's in the bathroom, she walks in and they end up actually having a heart-to-heart, as Dennis reveals that he was once married and had a son who died of rare cancer when he was 6. This week would have been his son's 8th birthday, so he's been hanging around with Aria because he doesn't want to be alone. And after his son died, his life just kind of fell apart. He left his big fancy corporate job, his marriage fell apart, he decided to pursue his dreams of somewhat becoming a rock star or whatever, and now he just keeps trying to fill up that hole inside of him, but it seems like nothing's really working. And even though he likes living at the coterie because no one asks him about himself, he always feels alone even though he's surrounded by people. So it was nice to finally get some insight into that character who at this point just seems like some random dude who was like, what's the point of him? And of course it's nice to see Stef and him kind of bond in that way. And when they hugged at the end of the episode, it was really cute, honestly. All right, but that wraps up the main events of this week's episode, and I really do wish Stef and Lena could visit all the time. I honestly feel like I say that after every episode with somebody from the Fosters coming back. I said that after Jude's episode, and I feel like I'm going to say that after, the other people come to visit. But yeah, Stef and Lena, they're just always, not only are they fun, but they have such good advice, but they always have their struggles too, and they relate to the girls, and I just love having them around, and I just hope that they come back often. Now that there's a season 2, maybe they'll pop up even more, maybe. I know it's not the Fosters, so we can't have them around all the time, but I like having their presence known. Even when the earlier episodes when the girls were talking on the phone and you didn't even hear Stef and Lena, just the mention of them and that presence, it just made me love it. Now, as far as this Callie and Ben situation, I am rooting for Callie to follow her mom's advice and tell Judge Wilson the truth about Malika, because honestly, I think while she might be taken off of the case, I think she'll earn some of his respect if she tells the truth about the fact that she didn't know that Malika and Jamal's mom even knew each other until she walked into that courtroom, and by that time Callie had already been assigned this case. Even though she did know, obviously she lived with Malika, knew Malika was a part of the protests and the efforts, she didn't know the relationship between the mom, And also, if Ben gets there first and tells Judge Wilson, that's just going to make Callie look worse. So Callie really needs to get ahead of this situation, because it seems like Ben is really on the up and up of trying to get Callie to look bad. Here's the thing, though, with Ben. Is he going to be the one to take that information that he now has to Judge Wilson, or will he continue to be a little weasel and a snake and maybe give it to Rebecca and have her go take it to Judge Wilson in hopes that Judge Wilson will either yell at Rebecca or look badly on her for being a snitch, or what? I think he's trying to play it to his advantage, because he obviously did. He could have written that memo when Callie was AWOL, but instead he was like, Rebecca, you do it. So this guy can't really figure out exactly his motives, because there's a sliver of me that thinks, oh, maybe there's a good part of him that is actually just looking out for Callie, and he's gonna go to Callie and be like, hey, you really gotta watch what you put on social media or what your friends put on social media, because this could blow up in your face and you gotta get ahead of this. I am not leaning that that's the direction that he's gonna go with it. I'm leaning more towards he's going to give it to Rebecca and make Rebecca look bad to make himself look better. But I guess time shall tell, right? For now, though, let's just go ahead and watch the promo for the next episode.
It's Gael. Just a friend. Not my business. I just like to know who I'm up against.
Well, we are seeing other people, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, Callie's not escaping this boy drama anytime soon, because she continues to make it. Is it going to be like a love square now? How big is this love thing with Callie going to go? As we see Jamie's up for a challenge to take on Gael, but I have a feeling he kind of won't stand much of a chance with Gael, or against Gael, but I guess we're going to have to wait and see. For now, though, let's wrap up this rambling. You guys take to your keyboards, hit up the comments down below, and let me know your thoughts on this episode. What was your favorite moment with Stef and Lena? What do you think Callie should do? Is she going to take their advice about this whole Jamal Malika thing? What about the whole Gael situation? There's so many things going on, right? What do you think Ben is going to do? Yeah, let me know down in the comments. And then after that, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my videos, including my recaps and interviews and all that fun stuff, which you can find right over here. As always, I'm Lisa. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you again next time.